Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into two words that sound similar but have quite different vibes. Conserve and preserve.
That's right. A listener pointed these out, and it's a great topic because they both mean keeping something, but how we keep it. Well,
Uh,
that's the interesting part.
exactly. It seems subtle, but knowing the difference can really change how you understand certain issues, right?
Definitely. We talk about keeping things safe, guarding them, but the approach implied by conserve versus preserve is quite distinct. It matters in resource management, history, lots of areas.
Okay, so let's get started. Where do these words actually, come from? What are their roots?
Good place to start. Both are Latin. So conserve is from conservare, that's con, meaning together, and
Yeah.
servere, which means to keep or to guard.
Together, like keeping something intact,
Yeah.
maintaining its current state.
Precisely. Think of it as keeping it together, keeping it whole, maintaining what's there.
Okay. And preserve, how's that different?
Preserve comes from preserver. Again, you have servere, to keep. But the prefix is pre, meaning before.
Before. Ah, so like guarding something before harm gets to it.
Exactly. It implies anticipating potential harm and protecting something from it in advance, a sort of preemptive safeguarding.
That before part really adds a layer, doesn't it? It feels more protective.
It definitely emphasizes protection from something. So let's look at how those roots play out in today's definitions. Conserve.
Right. Conserve.
As a verb, it means protecting something, usually a resource, from harm or depletion, specifically through careful, often sparing use.
So wise management is key. Avoiding waste.
Yes, wise management to avoid waste. There's usually an implication of continued but careful use. You're engaging with it just thoughtfully.
It's not about locking it away completely.
Not usually, no.
Ah,
Now, preserve. That means maintaining something, often in its original or existing state, by protecting it from decay, damage, or destruction.
okay. So that sounds more like keeping it unchanged.
That's the core idea, keeping it unchanged, often implying it's kept safe from use or interaction to maintain that specific state.
So if we boil it down, the nuance is,
Conserve is really about managing use wisely to make something last longer, to prolong its availability.
okay, managing use.
And preserve is about protecting something completely to prevent any change or harm, keeping it as is.
Wise use versus preventing change. That's a pretty clear distinction. Let's make it concrete. Examples of conserve.
Sure. Think about water conservation, especially during a drought. We're asked to use less water, shorter showers, watering lawns, less so the supply lasts.
Right, we still use water, just less of it. Or government campaigns to conserve energy.
Perfect example, turning off lights, using efficient appliances. It's about reducing consumption, managing the energy resource wisely.
I've heard people talk about conserving their own energy on a long hike, you know, pacing themselves.
That fits perfectly, managing personal energy output. Or farmers using crop rotation that's about conserving soil fertility through active management, ensuring it remains productive over time.
Even insulating your house is about conserving heat,
Right.
using less energy to maintain warmth.
Exactly. All these show active use or interaction, but with the goal of not using the resource up too quickly or damaging it. Sustainability, really.
Got it. Active, careful use. Now, flip side, preserve. Where does that word fit?
Well, museums are a classic example. They work hard to preserve artifacts controlling temperature, humidity, light to stop decay and keep them in their original state.
Like keeping old photos safe in an acid-free album. You want to stop them from fading or crumbling.
Precisely. The goal is to prevent deterioration. Or think about efforts to preserve endangered species.
Ah, yes, protecting them from extinction, keeping them existing.
Right, maintaining their existence, often in a protected environment. You also hear about preserving traditions or languages, keeping those cultural elements alive and unchanged by outside influences.
And making jam or pickles, that's preserving food, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Huh.
You're stopping the natural process of decay to keep the food edible, maintaining its state for future consumption.
So the focus there is really on stopping change, preventing decay or loss, keeping it in its current state.
Exactly. Often without ongoing active use, or with the specific goal of preventing degradation over time.
Okay, so summing up, conserve, wise use. Preserve, protection from change.
That's the core distinction.
So thinking about this, when you hear these words used, say, in environmental debates or discussions about heritage, the choice of word really matters, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Someone talking about conserving a forest might mean sustainable logging and recreation, while someone wanting to preserve it might mean creating a national park where human impact is
It
minimized.
signals a different intention, a different relationship with the thing being discussed.
Definitely. It subtly shapes the focus.
Which leads to a final thought to chew on.
Huh.
Can these two ideas sometimes clash? Or maybe work together?
That's a great question. Think about a historic building. Do you conserve its usefulness by allowing some modernization inside while preserving the original facade?
Or do you purely preserve it as a museum piece, potentially limiting its modern use?
Exactly. Where does that line fall? Can you conserve the spirit of something by preserving certain key elements while allowing others to adapt? It's this tension between wise use and absolute protection that's really fascinating to consider in different contexts.
Something for you, the listener, to think about next time you encounter these words. Which approach is being advocated for and why? A lot hinges on that choice.